I'm thugging it. What's going on, everybody? This is going to be a review. I haven't done them in a while. I know I've been slacking, but I'm back. This is a review that a lot of people didn't get because there's a reason for it, of course, but I'll get into that later on. Right now, I'm going to do the review for Destiny, a day one review. Keep that in mind that this is from somebody who's actually played the game for 2 days now. I got it early, but it was only a day early and the servers were only available at 12. So do keep that in mind. This is just an honest guy reviewing the game, letting you know if it's worth 60 bucks. I'm not a professional or anything like that. This is just what I put together to let you guys know should you buy Destiny. So let's get into the review. Destiny, the story. Destiny is set several hundred years into the future in a post-apocalyptic setting, following a prosperous period of exploration, peace, and technological advancement. This is known as the Golden Era. Destiny will center around a journey of Guardians, the last defenders of humanity, set to protect Earth's last city. The Guardians will be divided into 3 distinct races. Humans. Humans are described as being relatively tough and uncompliant. Bungie drew this inspiration from the human race from the military and the character design aesthetics of Spartans, the ones that you see in the Halo franchise, of course. The Awoken. The Awoken is described as an exotic, beautiful, and mysterious. They were inspired by fictional depictions of elves, vampires, ghosts, and angels. Exos are described as being sinister, powerful, and tireless. Exos were inspired by the undead Halo Master Chief and the Titan character and the Terminator. Now, when it comes to the 3 characters, you do get a slight difference when you do something like the melee weapon and the overall power, sort of like what you saw in Borderlands, and I guess that's where you get that influence where people say it's similar to Borderlands. That's pretty much all that I see, and probably some of the graphics. However, just keep in mind that it doesn't matter who you pick. It's not going to change the game mechanics of the game. It's not going to change any attributes other than like maybe how they shoot and what they use to fight. You're not going to be able to jump high if you pick the elfish type character, or take better hits if you pick a robot. That's what I'm saying. So you just pick one going by, you know, role playing and what you want to pick. Controls. The controls for Destiny are not quite what you may be expecting. I mean, sure, anyone who played a FPS will be able to feel at home when they pick this up, but when it comes to the multiplayer, there's some noticeable differences. The main noticeable difference you may notice when you play the multiplayer versus playing a single player campaign is when you're in the heat of battle and you're trying to shoot somebody. A lot of people who play games like COD or Battlefield, they like to do what's called the run and gun method, where you can run and you can just turn to your left or right while you're running and shoot in that direction perfectly as long as you aim. But in this game, it's more realistic. So if you're running and you try to turn left, you're going to have a hard time and you're going to feel a little bit of resistance. It doesn't feel bad. It actually feels natural and realistic. Makes me wonder why more games don't use it, but they probably will. But it's not going to be as simple as just doing that and getting a kill, where it's what I like to call tank controls, where you're able to go forward and just move left and right at the same time as if you're a tank. You understand? So that's a tank control. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same as any other first-person shooter. The controls are classical: grenade, left trigger, right trigger, left trigger zoom in, right trigger shoot. Everything is the same, so you don't have to worry about feeling odd or anything. You just have to get used to that one particular thing that I noticed was quite unique and very different. Actually, I commend them for having that feature in. It makes the game more competitive, so it's a good thing. Graphics. The graphics are like none other. These are by far the best graphics I've seen on any next-gen console to date, and I've played pretty much all of them. The textures are very rich and plentiful. There was a lot of times when I was playing the game, if you see in the footage that I put up on YouTube, you'll see that I was actually stopping to take pictures and notice the backgrounds and just stare at stuff and pay very much attention to all the detail they put in the game. All I can say is the graphics are gorgeous. There's nothing I can say bad about it. Originality. When it comes to originality with this game, there's a little bit of a, yeah, there's something new, but yeah, it feels familiar type of vibe. For those of you that are familiar with Halo, this is gonna feel like this is definitely the people that made Halo that made this game. But for those of you who are not familiar with Halo, this is gonna feel different to you. It's not gonna feel like what it looks like. When you look at it at first, it's gonna look like a typical FPS. But this actually is why Halo was such a popular game. This stands out from Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I'm saying it by name. So you don't have to worry about this being some kind of clone or ripoff. It's in its own lane, particularly. It feels different. Everything's different about it. The only thing it has in common with these games is that it is a FPS. So you don't have to worry about that. As far as originality, this game is very original because it has enough differences in it to push it to be more original. Like the Ghost Companion, the moving and strafing, the way that works out. The fact that it's the first shared world shooter for next generation and it has such high capabilities and a lot of people playing gives it enough factor in to say that it's original. It gives it a big enough push that it's definitely an original game. So you don't have to worry about this feeling like something you played before. It doesn't. Everybody's on one server and the amount of people is endless from what I can tell so far. I actually looked for a number and couldn't even find one. That's how much that this game is original. I haven't seen that other than something like DC Universal or True MMO, and they don't call this an MMO. So that's even more impressive because it almost pretty much is an MMO. Overall, replay value, this game has a lot of random events and people to meet, making this game a never end or a repeat to play with a different character type of game. You can play over and do missions with new abilities, or you could just continue your game and play missions that will kick in your ass with your friends. So this game has tons of replayability, and I recommend that you buy this game over renting it because you'll always probably want to play it until something new or better comes along. You wouldn't really want to worry about paying for this rather than just having it. So this is a game that I think is worth buying. Even though Destiny is a multiplayer focused game, you could play the very large part of the game, almost the entire story mode, by yourself if you so desire. However, there's some parts where you may need, for an example, 5 people to start a mission. Destiny's competitive multiplayer won't be available the second you boot the game up. This is something that a lot of people may need to know. Unlike Halo, you'll need to unlock the PvP play, which is the player versus player mode, which should take you from anywhere to 1 to 3 to 5 hours. Once you've done this for one character, however, it's unlocked forever for everybody or anything you pick. But you do have to get there. So just keep those things in mind and you'll be fine with this game. Overall, based off what I've seen so far from the multiplayer, the story mode, the uniqueness, the graphics and design, out of 10, I'm going to rate this game an 8. Because this game is very entertaining, it's very appealing, it's very good, and it's worth $60. It's definitely worth buying and purchasing. This is Jimmy B Gaming. This is an honest man's review, and honestly speaking, this game is worth buying. What are you waiting for? Go get it if you haven't.